Okay, so today the FAA has announced the companies that are going to help develop the remote ID solution. While some of these companies really make a lot of sense, two of them, to me, have some bias in the industry that I think could sway the way we see this implemented, not in our favor. Stick around. What's good, guys? Welcome back. Ken here. You're watching Original Dobo. And on today's video, we're talking about the 8 companies that the FAA has selected to help develop the remote ID solution. So they put out this memo online, and I'll just go ahead and read it to you. It says, the U.S. Department of Transportation, Federal Aviation Administration, known as FAA, has announced the 8 companies that will assist the federal government in establishing requirements for future suppliers of remote ID, which is the remote identification. Remote ID will enable unmanned aircraft systems, commonly called drones, to provide identification and location information while operating in the nation's airspace. So the following companies were selected for this, and it's as follows. We have Airbus, AirMap, Amazon, Intel, OneSky, Skyward, T-Mobile, and Wing. These were the companies that were selected through the request for information process in 2018. So it wasn't like this was determined recently. It's been about 2 years that they started this process of selecting these companies. So while this sounds, great, we've got some companies now on board, I don't really understand Amazon. For me personally, you have the largest proponent, somebody who wants to be able to deliver their products via the air using drones, and you're going to allow them to take part in the remote ID process, which will obviously negatively affect us, either by us having to pay for a service or potentially rendering thousands of dollars of equipment useless if you will not allow us to retrofit it. Now, they really didn't go on to say too much more other than there's 160,000 remote pilots, which I think that number's a little bit low actually. And that in order to maintain a safe airspace, that this needs to happen. While I'm not against the idea of remote identification, I am against the idea of companies that have interest or something to gain from this being allowed to develop this program. The other company that I just wonder why they're even in this is Airbus. Airbus produces airplanes. They're probably the largest manufacturer of airplanes now, since Boeing took a really big hit with the 737 MAX situation. They have a lot to gain from this as well. And if any one of these companies develop something, they are absolutely going to expect that somebody pays for it. And I guarantee you, as cheap as the FAA is, hell, they make us pay $5 per drone. And if you have a 107 license, you're actually paying $5 per drone, not just in total for your license, plus the $150 every 2 years. Seems like every time I turn around, this hobby nickel and dimes me worse than when I played paintball. Yeah, it's that expensive. And if they implement software like this and use any one of these companies, they're definitely going to want you to pay something. Another company that was listed on here is T-Mobile. I can only beg to wonder why they've chosen T-Mobile, if not other than the fact that they have a cellular network. It is also a GSM cellular network. So it's a little bit broader than something like, let's say, what Verizon or Sprint is using, although they are the same company now, Sprint and T-Mobile. But I'm just seeing that fact that I think they want to lean towards a cellular connected remote ID solution, which I think is a really bad idea. I didn't see DJI. I didn't see any other manufacturers of drones on this list, which they all proposed. They all proposed ideas, solutions that are already existing that wouldn't clog up the airspace, nor would it cost any money to implement. Yet the FAA seemingly has snubbed those proposals from these companies. You're asking people who don't build drones, other than Intel. Intel has some brilliant minds. You're asking companies that don't build drones to bring your resources to the table to make something for these products. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'm a little bit worried with this, but it does sound like anything as far as decisions are still pretty far away. Also, there was no mention of any of the comments, so I'm wondering at what point do we understand what the FAA has determined based upon the comments that we submitted? I think that's a big question mark at this point, and I would love to hear from them in that, because I know a lot of people who are thinking about buying a drone or haven't bought a drone or wanting to upgrade have paused and have wanted to wait because they don't want to spend $2,000+ on product and then find out it's going to be rendered useless in about a year and a half with zero chance of resale value. It's pretty depressing. But if I find out any more information on this, I'll definitely go ahead and include links down below. But if you want to see this memo for yourself, there will be a link in the description below where you can go ahead and read it for yourself. I'm sure it's already made its rounds, and I'm sure it's pissed off a lot of you. And maybe some of you have the same thoughts as me, that you don't feel like Amazon should be part of these 8 companies that are helping developing the software. Even if Amazon has a tremendous infrastructure and the capability to develop or design something like this, it's only going to benefit Amazon and not us. But that's all I have today. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, that's fine. That other button is always there as well. And as always, stay original.